Earlier, and like you heard earlier, we have been joined by Superintendent Alex Obing. He is with the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Ghana Police Service. Specifically, he is the head of education, research, and training at the MTTD of the Ghana Police Service. I also have with me Malik Abbas Dabo, my colleague, and we'll be having this conversation with you as well. So send in your questions as you have already on 0244 340 437. Superintendent Alex Obing, good morning. Welcome once again.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Hope all is well.
Oh, by God's grace.
We thank God. We thank God very much. So, road accident has come on the radar. We can't kid ourselves because of what happened on Friday and Thursday dawn into Friday, I should say. And it was very, very worrying hearing 70 people die in a space of hours because there was one at King Tampo, there was one at Cape Coast. More accidents are being recorded every single day. Enforcement is a key part of it. From where you sit, how did you take the news on Friday?
All right. Thank you very much and for the opportunity, and good morning to listeners. I don't know whether we are on Facebook.
Yes, we're on Facebook Live. So say hi to our viewers as well.
Yes, good morning to global viewers to Joy FM. And I think that at this moment, I must also send our condolences to many families that have lost their loved ones through road crashes. And let's also wish our compatriots speedy recovery, those at hospitals and at home with injuries. And the incident that happened on Friday is not an isolated occurrence. And for me, it's opportunity for all Ghanaians to also be reminded that this is with us and it's perplexing, and the solution currently is inadequate. And therefore, all hands should be on deck. It should not be a one-off, but it's something that we have to sustain, whether it's engineering, whether it's proactive and reactive policing, whether it's sensitization, or it has to do with monitoring or advocacy. We should all be focused that incident of this is with us, and the trend is clear. And that is the situation.
Okay.
It's very unfortunate. Because when you look at what has happened, at least this year, I just want to start from this year. In January and February, 59 days, a trend has been established. And it's like a continuation of what we all did last year. That there is a marginal increase in road crashes. I recorded within 59 days, not less than 2,000 crashes. And out of that, over 3,000 vehicles. I mean, very short. Over 3,000 vehicles have been involved in these crashes. And out of that, within that 59 days, over 411 fatalities and over 2,000 mobility injuries. And when you further do the analysis of these occurrences, that raises the attention of all of us. Because prior to this incident, I think everybody was quiet, but we were still sensitizing and doing our enforcement. Let's look at where these accidents occurred. These two accidents, where did they occur? They occurred on strategic road network, which constitute the spine of our road network in Ghana. The N1 from Elubo to Aflao, and it occurred around Kumfi, between Apam and Mankesim on the N1, which is a single carriage. And the other one, the same day, also happened on the N6 that departs from Kwame Nkrumah Circle to Paga and empties onto the N10 between Techiman and Kintampo at Ampumakrum Junction. And it's also a single carriage. And these are not isolated, because prior to these occurrences, these have been happening. It is an annual affair, and it's happening on the same stretches and the same locations, not on dual or sections which are dualized, but sections of this road which are supposed to dualize you have not done and are single. And on talk of 2010 one that happened at Cardia between Tamale and Boga, what happened? There was a similar head-on collision on that single carriage, and it claimed about 65 lives. Let's fast track down to 2016, same period, and you recall the outskirts on the same street at Kintampo. It was an uproar, like what you are discussing, and about 60 deaths. Okay, and let's fast track it to last year, for example, at Yipala, on the same stretch, we were on the land of Nihouse, that the three of these high occupancy buses crashed, and we recorded 18 deaths, many injured. And same year at Enyinem, on the same corridor, single carriage, and it claimed 14. And we have all these incidents that are happening. These are few out of the myriad of these head-on collision on this single carriage on Trans-West Africa Highway, which we are using to serve landlocked sister countries, i.e. Chad, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, and other countries to the east and west, including Ivory Coast. We're talking about Liberia, and we're also talking about Togo, Nigeria, and Benin, because we pride ourselves that we have one of the vibrant ports, one at Takoradi, the one also here with us around Tema, and we are expanding it. It's a cradle of trade, and a lot of lighters are emptying, and freighters from these countries are traversing on these corridors diurnally and nocturnally, and it's also serving our own compatriots. All Ghanaians, if you want to come to the capital, there's this spine that you use, and day in, day out, high occupancy passenger lorries, omnibuses, mini are on this corridor. And this is a high mix, heavy congested mode, which all of us agree that, oh, it should be dualized since our independence. But we have managed to only dualize where these roads interface with urban settlements. And I'll give you a clear example. And that is not inuring to our benefit in terms of our public health and safety. That's what I'm talking about it. Because I'm saying this because you can be harping on sensitization. You can be harping on stringent enforcement and education. We shouldn't at the same time forget that the road, engineering it, making purposive investment in it, and exacting on the goal of it also seeks to ensure a shore-up enforcement, because we call it situational crime prevention. Because if these accidents are happening on single carriages of these transit routes, it communicates something to us, and the trend is clear. And anytime this happens, it is a national uproar. And most of these are happening at dawn and at dusk, and sometimes you want to blame it on sensitization and enforcement. But then, if you forget about the road network and we hide behind no money, clarion call, which is common with us, we will continue to have these problems, because where these roads are urban, are dualized, these are headlongs are not happening. And we are only observing rear end or rollover. And when you go, fewer casualties. But where these corridors are left single since independence, these are where these things are. And let me give you a quick example on this route, for example. From Elubo to Aflao, where have you dualized it? Tema, isn't it? On the N1.
Yes.
Between Kwame Nkrumah motorway and George Walker Bush motorway.
Yes.
Up to Oduponkwe or Kaswa. Then the dual carriage is no more. There we don't have any head-on collision. And then you get to Cape Coast Township, and there's dualization, isn't it? And then around UCC is left all the way to Takoradi, and it is dualized, and
it's not dualized in Takoradi.
Whatever that
it crosses through Takoradi, it dualizes
somewhere after that area.
After airport roundabout.
That's what I'm saying. All these dualizations done in cities, deceiving ourselves. Again, on the N6 and N10, let's look at it from Kwame Nkrumah Circle. We started in 2002 to dualize it. Where are we now? We are the outskirts of Sinsawam, and then we left there and we went to Nkoko bypass. And then we left there, and at Bisiasi through Kumasi to Kronon, and then we left it, and then went to Techimai. In the township, we did a little bit up to the police station, and we left it, and then we get to Tamale, and then the township, we have done it, not all even far to the airport. We left it, and then Bogatanga town, we did it, and we left it, not even to Sumbrugu. Are you with me? And we left where these are highways, where we are supposed to dualize. These are left, and this is where these occurrences are happening. Is it sending a signal to us? And I think that in ensuring stringent enforcement, it's not only deployment of traffic police officers to line up on the road with gadgets, but also using the road engineering aspect, doing purposive investment, okay? And elsewhere, I've read in the literature and I've seen in practice that even government don't spend dime. They look at you use PPP strategy.
Yes.
They mobilize resources elsewhere, and they told and build, operate, transfer. And these rules are done. It's not done because the country is worthy, but because if your roads are transit routes, and you are using it not only to serve your nationals, but our compatriots within the sub-region. Elsewhere, they do it. And with Ghana, we have started even with 50-kilometer stretch of it since 2002. We would have finished by now. Are you okay? And these risks will not be there because you sensitize, you do education. But if a driver, slips off, micro slips, he veers on the thin line and he crashes into you. If that vehicle, per chance, has a physical defect with tire burst, he veers off on the thin line and it crashes into you. If the driver is drunk and he gets through the radar and he is found on the thin line, he crashes into you. If the driver is recalcitrant, is aloof, is stubborn, is a repeat offender, and where these highways are there and police officers are not there, you cannot also spread police officers. He will do unlawful overtaking.
Okay.
And he veers onto the thin line. And then here he goes, meeting the oncoming right of lane vehicle, head-on collision. And when you're talking about head-on collision crashes, it is the severest. And it is severest, the impact, and then the outcome in terms of fatalities and morbidity. And so I think that whilst the discussion should go on in terms of policing and education,
you feel that we should look at engineering as well.
We shouldn't ignore it because it is the surest, and eventually it is that will eliminate the risk. That the roads, and we can't hide behind no money. But in the interim, there are things that we do proactively and reactively. However, over time, what we started to do on the N6 from Circle, we should end it at Navrongo and Panga.
Okay.
What we started to do in recently on the N1.
Okay.
We should end it so that the efforts that these agencies, including MTTD and all that, are putting in, will yield results. Because engineering, when well done in terms of the road, particularly dualizing these strategic, will reduce crashes by almost 30% on such corridors.
Very eloquently said, Mr. Obeng. I have really enjoyed listening to your. You
have to become an advocate.
No, I'm making a point. I'm making a point. I've really enjoyed listening to this submission you have made. Very worried about the fact that, by the estimation, 7 people have died every day from between January 1 and the end of February. 7 people have died from road accidents every single day. 33 people, close to 34 people have been injured every single day from road accidents from January through to the end of February. But you would agree with me Superintendent Obeng, that if we are looking at it from this perspective, it is much bigger than dualizing roads, isn't it?
We will come to this data. That one I look at occurrences and incidents that also...
Exactly, because I was taking you there and pointing to the fact that it is actually motorcycle accidents and private vehicles that are on the ascendancy, not high occupancy vehicles that are commercial vehicles.
The devil lies in the details.
Exactly.
There are so many causes of
yes.
road users. And this morning my submission was to deal with
the high occupancy vehicles
and transit trailer vehicles and all that. In addition to that, there are also other vulnerable road users who are at risk and are being maimed on the road. And the data is clear, as I said. If you look at the crash outcome, out of the 411 fatalities, 108 were motorcycle occupants, both riders and polio riders, who are also vulnerable. And 136 were also you and I on foot, pedestrians. So when you do the analysis, you observe about 242 or thereabout, which consists of almost 60% of the fatalities, were vulnerable road users. No doubt about that. Are you with me?
Yes.
And it is also a problem that we've been discussing last year, that motorcycle has become an albatross in terms of its use. What do we do? And pedestrians, and you recall what happened on the J.J. Rawlings Avenue between University of Ghana and Adenta barrier, where people were jaywalking and drivers were marauding and the roads were not well engineered and there was pedestrian vehicle conflict and a lot of people were dying. You remember that?
Yes.
So that is something that we are grappling with and dealing with road engineering, sensitization and all that. However, this year it is manifesting that it's still a challenge. And we've also seen that when you do the remaining figure we are dealing with, fatalities, were motor vehicles, either high occupancy vehicles that caused it, or what happened
vehicles.
And all that. And that is it, because the devil lies in the details. So it depends on the discussion we are having.
Of course.
It's not, if it is the Friday one, we discuss it. If it is motorcycle-related injury, we deal with it. But in all, the trend is not looking good. And that's why we cannot also play down enforcement and sensitization. But at the same time, we should also not forget, that's all the time, when a crash occurs, we're only looking at this, and then we hide that, there is no money for engineering. But I'm saying it is a long time we realize that whilst we are discussing in the interim that we should sustain enforcement, stringent enforcement and sensitization, we should also have a plan, purposive in program to dualize these transit routes, because they are serving the economy and they are providing public safety to all Ghanaians and the sub-region. And so we should look at it holistically.
Of course.
But sometimes when it comes, we watch it that, no money, otherwise we would have done it. It is begging the issue. There is a way to do it, and we should be purposive on it. Otherwise, it will come back to Hunter. That's why I said that we look at the trend of occurrence on these corridors.
Yes.
And any time we are talking about a serious accident that hits is at the core of it is on these corridors, and always headlong. And the strategy to reduce headlong risk is always when it is transit routes. Because sometimes people will say we cannot dualize our route. We have not said that. Then two routes that constitute the spine of our road network in Ghana is the N1 from Elubo to Aflao, and then the one from Accra to Paga, which is N6 and N10.
Eloquently stated.
It is
eloquently
there.
stated. But you see, the officials and the agencies in charge of dualizing our roads will have their day and would have to answer the questions. Today, we are brought you here to represent the MTTD, which is why we have to stick our conversation, even though you have stated the advocacy very well. I respect that.
Take it up. And
oh, yes. We'll have to
Don't
keep
leave
the
it.
conversation within the remit of your responsibility. In these areas, on these, even this N6 and this N1, do we check regularly to make sure that the commercial vehicles there have spare reserve drivers so that people don't micro sleep when they are driving?
The issue of compulsory 8-hour driving has not been enforced as we have it in the law, but it is through admonishment and all that, because the strategy to enforce it has to be holistic and strategic. We need stakeholders to come up, and not only police. Are you with me? And it is sitting in our law, and it is yet to be implemented, except at the corporate level, where they are using logbooks and all that to it. But in terms of commercial vehicle operators, it is yet to be enforced. And
why?
It goes beyond only deploying traffic police to be there. There are certain systems and other things that have to be on the vehicle, and it has to be accepted by, or because in terms of road transport, it is not only police that drives it. There is a multiplicity of stakeholders that comes together to ensure that certain aspect of the law is implemented. For example, tachographs have not been done. Speed limiters is supposed to be fitted on vehicles. It is yet to be done, though it's sitting in our law. So some might be there, but currently it's not implementable, and that goes beyond police. However, ours is to ensure that certain moving violations that are not committed. For example, between the same period this year, because we are discussing crashes between January
to now,
for
basically.
Example, you look at the efforts of traffic police in terms of our reactive enforcement, and not the proactive and the reactive. We've arrested within 59 days 985 road offenders who offended in terms of violated in excessive speeding, who were found to have overloaded their vehicles, who were found drunk and driving behind steering wheel, who were using vehicles with worn out tires, who were driving as passengers because they are unlicensed. In fact, there were many, about 150. And we have those who are using rickety vehicles, non-roadworthy vehicles. And we have those who are riding or driving inattentive, those who are on mobile phones with one hand holding it and WhatsApping, Facebooking, Twittering, and selfie and all that. And we have those who are on motorbike not wearing crash helmet or protective clothing, and those who are using the wrong side of the road or using a vehicle that are prohibited, including those with hazards on and all that, among other myriad of violations. And out of these 985 detections and persons, we so far put 865 before motor courts across the country. And out of that, the court has convicted 804 of them for these offenses, and many others. And so far, 3 are in jail, and 380,000 Ghana cedis as punitive court fines have been imposed on them, and they have paid. And
this is a nationwide figure?
Yes, for within 59 days. And so it tells you of because the current enforcement strategy is physical. Let's understand that one too. You see, when we say it is physical, we deploy police officers, or we receive complaints of what somebody has done in the presence. Eye with me. We use your eye. It is physical. We are here to automate our enforcement efforts.
It's not entirely physical, is it?
And it's backed by evidence gathering devices we use to gather.
Exactly. So it's not entirely physical. You
need police to be physically standing.
Okay.
But elsewhere, there are sensors. When I say sensors, sometimes you don't need police officers to be deployed. Sometimes you need only sensors or cameras to detect offenders everywhere, and you monitor. and people are forthcoming. Are you with me?
Okay.
So the lens or the speed camera or whatever, violation camera then becomes also another way of seeing, detecting what somebody is doing. And that, to the extent that that lens sensors are linked with electronic data. Are you with me?
You mean data?
It gives you real-time information on which vehicle is on that road has committed out, and who owns it, for the person to be forthcoming. And that's why I'm saying that most of the things we are doing since 1952, when vehicles started coming, particularly in terms of traffic policy, has been physical. We must appreciate that one as we make effort to automate our enforcement efforts.
Okay, that is fully automate, because, like I said earlier, and like you said in your submission, you do have some devices.
For example,
like the speed gun.
Let me give you an example. Like if your vehicle you have carry a roadworthy sticker, for example. When we get there, we physically have to examine it first. You see, they'll have to stop the vehicle, and then we take our evidence gathering 2-dimensional barcode scanner to scan it on the spot. But elsewhere, it is not like that. As the vehicle is approaching the sensor, information is relayed to the police that is close by, that vehicle coming, the roadworthy is ABCD, or is valid or invalid. Are you with me?
So limitations exist.
That is how physical it is, that it is strenuous. You need to stop the vehicle in traffic, pull the driver aside, and focus something on. As for the evidence gathering, you can sometimes use the eye to see. Sometimes you need an aided device. But that still makes it difficult because it is personal, it is physical, and it delays, and it's cumbersome, and it allows interference, and it creates animosity and name calling and all that. And that is not the modern way of traffic policy. When you live in a jurisdiction where vehicle population is on ascendancy by almost 10%.
So limitations exist. We acknowledge that. Accra has a total vehicular traffic, vehicles only, of about 4.5 million every day. Every day.
In terms of trips.
In terms of trips. The Accra Tema motorway alone has about 80,000 cars every day. But across the country, we have halted 985 people and arrested 3 in 59 days.
Not that arrested 3.
No, 3 were in jail.
Court is the other one is court.
They have been jailed.
Court.
Thank you for the correction. But 985 drivers and 3. Would you say it's an effective number?
No. Well, out of the 985.
No, okay. Let's stick with the 985. It's fine. Let's stick with the 985.
The 984. Not all of them. We could get evidence to put them before court. But those were put before court. 804. The court says that they were wrong, and therefore they have been convicted.
I fully understand. The question
and they were punished.
The question is that vehicular traffic in Accra alone is 4.5 million. Across the country, in 59 days, is 985.
Yeah.
That is a number we can show. Would you say it's an effective number? Yes. Would you say it's an effective number?
Well, depending on how you are looking at it. Are you with me? Because I've told you that we are doing physical enforcement. Elsewhere, we will be talking about maybe 2 million. You may be talking about 2 million, because if a complaint is not received, if the police officer is not present to stop a vehicle, and mind you, for example, now we have police officers who are maybe at JEMA doing enforcement.
Yes.
They are not expected to stop all vehicles. Are you with me? That's what I'm saying. It's physical. So if 10 vehicles are moving, the best is to pull one aside and check it physically. Stop the vehicle. The driver occupant comes out. Then you do the check, and the probability that he has committed is you can understand it. So for me, because of the physical nature of the enforcement, it does not allow so many people to be found to have committed. Are you with me? Unless those who you stop, and then you take them through the procedure. You check the license, you check the roadworthy, maybe the speed is all right, and you check whether he has paid the LVL, if it is for 3.5 cc and above and all that. And and the ties and all that. And if the person is all right, there isn't problem. So for us, what is important is that as many as were we suspected to have committed offense at our duty points, they were forthcoming. We did the investigation, and those that we got evidence in support, we proceeded to court. For example,
how many officials? Mm-hmm.
Last year, for example, when we finished the year, we had arrested 5,912, and 3,906 were convicted, and 32 were put in jail, and 2.1 million as punitive fines were done. This is the efforts we put in, because what we are doing, I'm saying that elsewhere, see, I know other jurisdiction. Police, you go to sleep, you come and you examine at the back office, you examine the data. You realize that, at midnight, this is what somebody ran the red light. That's the number. Please, a message is sent. And so you can see that, the volume of offenders will be higher. Are you with me? But when it is physical, police officers have to go to sleep, get up early morning, 6 a.m. is at the duty point. As many as will come on that corridor will be checked. Some of them will check. And those that are found to have committed, they will be put through police process of investigation.
How many officials have we deployed across the country? Can you tell us the number of officials on the road actually at various duty points? Can you give us a number?
Our deployment is not static.
Okay,
because
but on
we
the average,
do a lot of activities. Mm-hmm. Because I'm speaking, some are even proceeding to motor courts. It's a duty point. Mm-hmm. Are you with me? To go and prosecute cases for us, and some are also preparing charge sheets for dockets for people to go to court. Others are in traffic. Are you with me? Are you not aware that almost all signal traffic junctions in big cities in Ghana, you see traffic police officers deployed during rush hours?
Yeah, so I want a
We
rough
also
figure.
have those who are also on highways checking those behaviors that easily influence road crashes. Like we have APS, accident prevention squads, about 8 teams deployed on these road networks to check incidents of these crashes and all that.
Okay.
And so for us, we have currently about 2,400 personnel, and some of them we deployed on our roads to ensure that, and some of them even we deployed alongside DVLA. Okay. Are you with me? Okay. To also do this vehicle maintenance, enforcement and all that. So we do what we have to do under the circumstances.
Right.
And that's
right. So that's about 2,400 personnel generally, and then they do various duties. Research would show that out of the 2,000 accidents we've had since the beginning of the year, 98% of them are due to some form of human error. 98% of them
it is not,
are due to some form of...
It is not new, because in Ghana...
I haven't finished my question.
Yes.
Okay. So if we have 98% of them, for 1,000, that would be 980. That means that for 2,000, that would be over 1,800, close to 1,900 of them are due to some form of human error. Okay. I'm coming back to the question of effectiveness. Could these 1,900, could they not have been policed effectively at some point so that those errors would not occur?
Well,
at any point in their journey.
When you look at it I'm wondering, because see, the
overspeeding, for instance.
It depends on where the thing occurred, for example, and where the person is sleeping. Are you okay? What time of day, where, and all that. Because we're looking at the causal factors. For example, the one that happened at the Kumfi Dunkwa, between Apam and the one that occurred that mid-morning. One driver was tailgating on the highway. They say tailgate. He was driving too close to a salon vehicle, very close, when he's supposed to. Where there's no police officer, because I've said that you cannot deploy traffic police officers along all the routes, basically, but they are at various spots. But in between, the driver decides to tailgate instead of allowing wide bubble space or following distance. He was driving too close. So when the driver slowed down to go over a bump, he could not run to the rear. So he veered onto the oncoming right of the vehicle. And then that vehicle also was present. And there was that headlong collision. In this instance, who do you blame, for example? It boils down to a driver, mistake. And for me, it is a challenge that many of the crashes that occurred, if they are 100, we always say about 94, as you said, will be attributed to one error of you or me behind the steering wheel. Either has to do with the tie that got burst because you did not provide the appropriate tie, or because of the nature of speed you engage in when you and I were not present. Are you with me? Or the way you change lane, for example, or the way you were tailgating, and how you run the red light, where do you expect that all police officers cannot be at the signalized junction around the clock? So when a crash occurs at midnight, when the person, instead of stopping at the red light, he just to run and crash into a colleague who is complying, then you come and then you want to say, oh, a police officer. I think that traffic enforcement, traffic management is a multi-stakeholder, venture. And that is why a vehicle owner has a responsibility of enforcement to ensure that the vehicle is roadworthy.
Okay.
The vehicle is delivered to a safer hand.
Okay.
So you do a background check of a driver you want to hand over a vehicle to. But in my data, for example, last year, let me show you something. Out of the arrests that we sent to court, 1,142 out of the 5,900 were people that vehicle owners gave their license to who were supposed to be passengers, and because they were not license holders, for example. Are you with me? We detected them. If you have not detected them, then we say, oh, police didn't do a good work. And if an unlicensed person is behind a steering wheel and this thing happened, what do we do? And we know clearly, like we have seen gentlemen, it cuts across profession. You can sit in vehicles and even wearing
they don't even carry licenses.
No, wearing seatbelt becomes a headache.
It becomes a problem.
And with mobile phone in one of their hands, what's happening?
What's happening while they're driving?
And we're admonishing and all that. Those who should know better, and how people are unlawfully overtaken with the SUVs and all that. Are you getting what I'm talking about? And these are matters that sometimes, apart from enforcement, we also have to always sustain education.
Advocacy and education. Let me bring in Malik on at this point.
SPOB, I want to pick up from where Daniel left off in respect of the number of arrests that you have made in the last 59 days, that's almost 2 months. Does it bother you that there were more crashes than the number of arrests you made? Because I would have thought that, given how active you are expected to be, that there will be more arrests than crashes. But the figures you have given us yourself, there were more crashes than arrests. And if you look at the volume of vehicles that we have and the traffic that we have in Accra alone, not even nationally, in Accra alone, would you not agree that the number of arrests that you made, which is less than 1,985 in 59 days, is too small, in fact, very negligible compared to the number of crashes and the volume of vehicles and traffic in the country?
Well, I think it is a concern, and that is why we are trying to automate our enforcement efforts. And you recall the directive that came, that MTTD have to automate.
Are you not too slow?
No, not too, because it's ongoing. We need to do a good job. So we pray. Ours is, we are even in a hurry than you.
What do you need? Is it equipment or men?
We are in a hurry more than you, because it takes a lot before you can automate traffic police enforcement efforts. Because I've said that you need a complete national infrastructure, including national automated vehicle data at DVLA. They host it. You need automated record of license holders. This is held at DVLA, and it should be compatible with the sensors you deploy, so that police back office information will come through the ICT, and then you'll be able to detect who owns that vehicle, what's the profile of the owner or the driver, and what he has done at all that. And these are the very things that support traffic police officers around the world. Otherwise, when it has to do with this physical enforcement, these are some of the challenges we are facing.
Let's take
we cannot detect so many. One police officer. Now you say, oh, one police officer at the traffic duty point is supposed to check on the motorcycle rider who is violating the red light, and also supposed to direct traffic at the same time, for example. And what do we do? But if there were automated system, you can run it, but you cannot hide. And that is what we are working towards. And we hope that not in a distant millennium soon, we will have that system, and we have a lot of capacity to detect within a very short speed when offenses are committed.
How much is a problem of interference from persons? I know, and I mean, you and I are always at your offices there. I come there all the time. And I see virtually on a daily basis, people are arrested for traffic offenses. Calls are coming from members of parliament. Calls are coming from ministers and deputy ministers and pastors and imams.
Media houses and journalists.
And media houses and journalists. I'll add it for him.
So all these calls are coming
from,
and I sense frustrations on your part. How much of that is a problem? The interventions by persons so that you hold the law in abeyance and let traffic offenders go.
I've never been stressed when it comes to what we go through, because that is our situation. That is what we have. This is what we inherited and was bequeathed to us by Ghana since 1952. When vehicles started coming, we graded the routes that we were working on up to today. And if we have not automated our system, and it is one-on-one, it is. And that is what we manage and we do every day. And we do our best and use our discretion.
Is there a problem?
Ensure that. Definitely, why then we want to automate? However, if this is what we have, police, we don't complain. We work with it to ensure that traffic services are delivered to the Ghanaians who have access to deliver this. So, whereas we don't throw our hands into the air.
I have a question on your stops on the highways. When I'm driving from Accra to Takoradi, I know where the police are standing. I can tell you the 3 spots that I'll find police. Is that not a problem in itself?
I think variations have to come, and I agree with you perfectly.
Why haven't they come?
However, there are also areas that we decide to stand because of traffic problems. Because if the spot is known to be accident prone, we always want to be present. Note that. Because if these places are accident prone, for example, Adahukwa and Ochireko, from Kaswa, Potson to Winneba Runabout, we will never leave that place. We won't during the day. We won't, because a lot of casualties have been picked from there in the past. It's an accident prone. People want to unlawfully change lane. People want to speed. People want to do overtaking in column and do all manner of things. So, and particularly commercial drivers. So we've decided that the traffic police officer deployed, the APS, have to be there. Are you with me? If that assurance will also mean that there won't be a crash, of course, in recent time we have not seen a crash. So be it. So, however, I think that varying it to is something that we look at.
So by that line of thinking, this spot on the Kintampo-Techiman Highway that has seen, by your estimates, 180 people die in the past 9 years, we should have people there.
You know, there are certain places that it's difficult to deploy police officers.
Why?
When you have the traffic police officers. Because most of our deployment too is coincide with towns. Most of our deployment. But the traffic police are doing our enforcement. When you're doing highway speed checks, we want to see how you are approaching the town and all that. And so, in not many curves, you want to deploy a police officer. That has its own problems. And that's why the only solution may not be deploying traffic police officers, because the accident may even happen in the night.
So deploy them at night?
No, see, that's why I'm saying that traffic policing mostly is not done at night. Traffic policing is mostly done during the day.
Why?
Because that is it. And
why is that it? People are dying at night.
And that's why I'm saying that in most times, I'm talking about physical deployment, and that's why in most jurisdictions we use census.
We don't have the census now. So how do we prevent the deaths now?
What I'm saying is that
yes.
I've already told you that Ghana cannot afford to train traffic police officers and line them up along these transit routes from Accra to Paga and Flao to Alubo. You can't afford it. And that's why there's also training, capacity building for drivers. Are you with me? Because earlier I was talking about the support that the vehicle owner brings on board, and then a background check of the driver, and a driver who is also trained to handle such vehicles. And they also come in as enforcers. And sometimes even you see National Road Safety Commission will say, oh, we are empowering the occupants, are you with me, to also act as police officers when they are on board. So it's that traffic police cannot do all. Don't let us pretend.
We are not asking you to do all, but this is a stretch of road that has seen 180 people die
the length.
Over.
But at certain strategic locations. And I'm saying that...
You named them. You did. I'm quoting your data.
I gave you some incidents.
Yes.
On those corridors.
In the past 10 years.
Yes.
And we still don't have policemen on that stretch.
The point I was making was that these... Where these corridors are single carriage, that's where these crashes are occurring. I was making a point that in such instances, you always need to engineer the road to dualize so that you eliminate the risk of head-on collision. That's what I said. It doesn't mean that on that corridor, you will not see traffic police officers at certain locations. They are there. At certain locations, they are there.
So the conversation is not over, but we do have to take these very important messages. When we come back, we're speaking with Superintendent Alex Obeng. He is the Head of Education and Research as the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Ghana Police Service. My name is Daniel Dazi. Malik Abbas Dabo is here. Malik and I would have one question each, and then we finish the conversation when we come back. I'll be speaking about corruption. I'll be asking questions about corruption. I know Malik has a lot of questions, but we would have to limit ourselves when we come back. Stay with us. This is still the Super Morning Show.
At Afrodan, we believe that many of the problems people have with their health is as a result of the way they sit. In other words, your chair can kill you. Here's Dr. Marcus Mann of the Chiropractic and Wellness Center.
What you have to remember is that the spine is the lifeline to your body, and posture is the window to that spine. Now, posture is affected by your daily activities and habits like sitting. That's why at the Chiropractic and Wellness Centers, we recommend what I believe to be the best chairs available for preventing not only subluxations, but also other health problems that you may not be aware of. And that's Rabami and Mobilex chairs. Unfortunately, on a daily basis, I have to correct the effects of this poor sitting habit in our businessmen and businesswomen. Always remember, optimal spine equals optimum health.
So, for the sake of your health, buy Rabami or Mobilex chairs from Afrodan. We're on the first floor of the Swansea Shopping Arcade. Telephone 663-085.
Hey, Kwame, what's up here?
My brother, my wife has been diagnosed with cancer.
What?
My brother is here with kidney disease too.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know the World Health Organization estimates that over 16,000 new cases of cancers are diagnosed annually in Ghana, and kidney diseases account for 10% of all medical admissions to Korle Bu?
But thanks to Glyco-Critical Illness Plan, GSIP, I have spent over 20,000 Ghana cedis on my younger brother's disease. Yeah. What is GSIP?
Glyco-Critical Illness Plan, GSIP, provides you with financial support when diagnosed with any critical illness or dread disease such as cancers, strokes, kidney failures. Speak to GlycoLife today on 0302-218-500 for your GSIP policy. It is definitely in our interest to survive. GlycoLife, we cushion you for life.
No great story ever begun with, and we stayed at home all day and did nothing. Adventure, that's where great stories are born. Adventure has enough room for friends. It's spacious. Adventure happens in the city and out in the rough. Adventure has your back, front, side and side. Adventure is affordable and available. Ignite your own adventure with the all-new Renault Duster with a new sleek design, comfortable drive, 360-degree multi-view camera, hill descent control system, a 1.6-liter efficient and powerful engine, and so much more. more adventure. The all-new Renault Duster is sold and serviced by Premium Motors Limited. Call 0307 079977 or visit the Renault showroom at Atiko Junction on the Kanishi Odoko Road.
Renault, passion for life.
Oh my God, today police will use me for light soup.
Driver, why?
My car insurance has expired and the police are up ahead. That is why I'm behaving this way.
This driver, pa. So haven't you heard of Sunu Assurance's Easy Buy? You just have to dial *711 *733# to purchase or renew your motor insurance on all mobile money platforms.
So you mean I just dial *711 *733# and I'll be sorted? Oh my goodness, this is so easy and convenient.
Yes, dial *711 *733# to pay or renew your motor insurance on all the mobile money platforms. You can locate our offices nationwide at Airport Accra, Spentex, Temba, Kumasi, Koforidia, Tamale, Sunyane, Winneba, Cape Coast, Takrade, and Obuasi. You can contact us on 0302 770 548. Sunu Assurances. You pick your way, we take the risk.
Welcome to South Africa, your own personal playground.
Welcome to the Cape One.
Welcome to Johannesburg.
Welcome to Shaka Marine World.
Welcome to Canal Ball.
Welcome to the Nelson Mandela Capture Site.
Welcome to
the Cape Town Jazz Festival.
Welcome to the Midlands.
Welcome to Maboneng. Welcome to East London. Welcome to God's Window.
With 54 million welcoming South Africans, all eager to make your holiday that much more inviting, allow us to indulge you with all our favorite sights and sounds. Visit SouthAfrica.net to discover more. South Africa, inspiring new ways.
I am Dr. Acacia. Acacia gives your workers the best customer service and treatment options when the need arises, keeping them healthier and more productive for your business. Acacia Health Insurance. We place value on those you value.
Wow,
yeah.
Shandonia Garden is massive. Hey, what's that over there?
It's a plant tennis court, swimming pool, and a gym coming soon.
And the houses, unique in their own way.
Okay, darling, wait till you see ours.
What?
Why?
Wait.
Now tell me, what do you think?
Oh, just so serene. Thank you. I love you.
Visit our luxurious gated community at Shandonia Garden off the Tema Highway. Our lands are fully titled and litigation free with flexible payment plans you can afford. So let us bring you to Shandonia Gardens, where your dream lands. Contact us today on 0302 732529 and 0302 765436 or visit us at shandoniaproperties.com.
Now, this very moment, it's the pulse of possibility, potential, power. It's time
to make your move.
To take that step.
The time
is now.
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 The great things you do tomorrow start with the small steps you take right now. So take that step with Old Mutual. Call us on 0302 230 638 and make now count. Old Mutual. Do great things every day.
Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
Collaborate and listen.
It's 8 minutes to 9 here on the Super Morning Show in Joy 99.7 FM. With me, Daniel Daze. Our guest this morning, of course, Malik Abbas Dabo is also here. Our guest this morning is Superintendent Alex Obing. He is the Director of Education and Research at the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Ghana Police Service. Very staggering statistics he shared with us this morning. Since the beginning of the year, this year I mean, every single day, we've had 7 people lose their lives. Every single day, 7 people losing their lives. Every single day, 34 people are sustaining massive injuries on our roads because of road accidents. This year alone, between January and February. So it's a conversation we must have. We've talked about a number of issues: the proactiveness of the police, what must be done, automation of their services. We would focus a bit more on police corruption. Malik, which issue do you want to do with?
I wanted to ask a question about, there's a general belief that Ghanaians particularly drive recklessly. Is that belief founded?
It's a very important question.
And if it is it a function of the character of the Ghanaian, or it is because of spectacular failure of the police to enforce the law, and therefore people drive recklessly because they know they can get away with it?
Which in a way links to my question about corruption, right?
Absolutely.
So, Soup, you know, it's like an exam. You have your question sets for you. When we come back, you answer them. But your text messages coming through are brought to you by Afrodan, your back must last you a lifetime, and Glyco Critical Illness Plan, GSIP. Glyco will cushion you for life. Afrodan is offering you today the most comfortable chair in the world, the Nightingale Extreme Comfort Chair. It has over 10 thoughtfully engineered features, especially customized for your health and comfort. Go to Afrodan on the first floor of the Swansea Shopping Arcade and feel this chair. You will be amazed. We'll also take a few phone calls. 0302216541. We'll take some phone calls, not a few. We'll take phone calls, not a few. 03025462165541 and 0244340437. So let me begin with my question, Soup. In round 7 of the Afrobarometer, taken between 2016 and 2018, 66% of Ghanaians, 6 in 10, say some or most of the police are involved in corruption. And I've gotten messages pointing to specific spots on our road where they say policemen look at them to enrich themselves rather than enforce the law.
I wouldn't want to comment on the report. I'll leave it to
the Afrobarometer
Public Affairs Directorate to handle that aspect. In terms of some of these isolated incidents at our duty point as traffic police officers, there's a reason why for the past 2 years administration has been restructuring motor traffic and transport department to repopulate it since 1952 to ensure that we have new breadth of personnel with capacity to overcome some of these challenges and all that. And we expect them to live above this reproach, and we also expect that any of them that found to have engaged, there is police existing capacity to receive or detect, and if any member of the public also have any support in that direction in terms of evidence, police and public PIPs will rely on it to ensure that that police officer is forthcoming. And so for me, it is not what we are expected to be doing, and so personnel that are getting themselves involved in this extortion kind of behavior should quickly rethink. And I'm happy that in our lifetime, the Ghanaians and road users have capacity to detect, not even only by police officers, because we, in this age of possibilism, have capacity to use not only our eyes, but we have extension of our eye, which is the camera, which is not the photographer in those days, but on my small mobile phone, I'm able to, at public places, able to record issues of interest, which might include some of these
people taking
this. And if these are made available to appropriate agencies, so be it. And I will encourage all to do that, because it's a services for us, and all of us must ensure that the right things are done.
How many policemen were, should I say, were sanctioned by the service?
I wouldn't be able
last
to speak.
year.
I wouldn't be able to speak to that. I don't have the figures anyway. But I know that effort is something that police is not lazy about.
But you appreciate the fact that if you give us those figures, it will boost public confidence.
Well, I'm saying currently I don't have the figures, and I don't think I'm the right person to be issuing out those figures. There's an appropriate department that handles it. But I know that if history is anything to go by, many are always on interdiction. Some are dismissed. some are removed from the service, some have had reduction in rank and one form of sanction and all that. And I also know that some police officers have even been to the courts. Are you with me? So for me, it is something that we don't have to encourage. We will take the opportunity to admonish the traffic police officer on behalf of Director General MTTD to be firm and fair to all manner of persons on our roads and ensure that they exhibit high sense of tolerance and patience and deliver traffic services, particularly to drivers, because they're all stakeholders, we're transport operators, including the private road users. We should be decorous in the way we couch our and share with.
No, I think I agree with SP Obeng on this is not within your domain, but I'm sure you would admit that if people know that they can give the police money and get away with traffic offences, then the problems that we are talking about increasing speed of accident will happen, because people can believe that they will drive recklessly, and if they are found or they are caught, they will pay money and the money will be taken and then they will get away with it.
And I think it's a reason why since 2013 the department has been making frantic effort, which very soon will come to fruition, to automate our system, because the automation of our system will ensure that some of these things will be cleared out of our way. And we are also aware that some of these incidents do occur, and a lot of our officers have also found themselves the wrong side of our code of conduct and discipline. And we continue to train, build their capacity, monitor them, and ensure that those who are found to be underperforming in terms of extortion as a result of interference and all that are also dealt with drastically or even removed from the department. So that is something that we will not relent to do.
Okay, let me begin with the phone calls now. And Reverend Acosta has been on the line from Kumasi for a while. Reverend, thank you very much. You agreed to stay on the phone lines for a while. Please turn off your radio.
I've switched it off.
Thank you. What's your question to Superintendent?
It's not a question, statement. Good morning to you and good morning to David on Kumasi Live FM. The simple thing I would say, the police should stop collecting 1 cedi, 2 cedi from the drivers and do their work. 60% of people who are driving are not holding language. I expressed this to David and I asked him to call these people and do this work. They are not doing anything on the road. They are collecting 2 cedis, 5 cedis. And they are the people who are causing the police. I will blame the police because they are not doing anything on the road. They are just collecting 2 cedis, 5 cedis. And then the last one, I'll ask you to further investigate the issue of the driver and his mate who did be the policeman. Because we got information that they are maltreating, the driver and the mate and herself.
Okay.
Do that work for it. Thank you.
Thank you. We will definitely do that. The Human Rights Advocacy group has already started following up on that case. They have now met with, we are informed they've now met with that driver and his mate. We have to take the Joy Business Minutes now. We'll just take the Joy Business Minutes, and when we come back, we'll continue with your phone call. 0302 216 541 0244 340 437. Stay with us.
It's Karen and Daryl this Tuesday morning
with the Joy Business Minute.
The $3 billion Eurobond cash is expected to hit Bank of Ghana's accounts this week. This is after Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta closed a fundraising deal last week in London.
The Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana today begins its regular round of meetings to review the health of the economy. Issues that could dominate discussions are developments on the forex market and how to consolidate the city's strong recovery.
The Danish ambassador to Ghana, Tove Dengbel, says the outfit is liaising with the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority for the successful completion of the port expansion project. She says when completed, more Danish shipping lines like Maersk will be choosing Ghana as an investment hub.
Elsewhere, Airbus has secured an order from China for 300 jets in a deal estimated to be worth tens of billions of dollars. An agreement to purchase A320 and A350 XWB aircraft was signed during a visit by Chinese President Xi Jinping to Paris.
And you're up to date?
We'll be back at 3:06.
And we're back from the Joy Business Minutes. Thanks to the Joy Business crew. My next caller is already on the line. He's Mr. Nte from Tema. Good morning, Mr. Nte.
Good morning, sir, Mr. Dad.
Yes, sir. Let's hear you.
How are you?
I am blessed, though. How are you?
I'm also fine.
Okay.
Good morning, officer.
Good morning, sir.
I have only 2 questions for you. We are all concerned as professional drivers. Those who are selling under the traffic, especially intersection in the city. You see, when the traffic turns into green and the vehicle begin to move, you see them. You could see that they are finding place to go and stand. There are so many accidents about this. What are you going to do? Or whose responsibility to see these people are out of the road?
Okay.
Now, the second question is, I think you know that they are banned single tie with loaded carrier on top. Single tie vehicle with carrier on top, they are banned.
Yes.
But now you could see commercial drivers load passengers and goods at the same time inside the car. So and then at times you see sprinters use the rope to tie their boot, and the goods are hanging. And the policemen are also on the road always. People pass with this load.
Thank you, Mr. Ntey.
It's a insecure load. What do you say about this? What are you doing about this? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ntey. Mr. Ntey was referring to single axle vehicles. Francis is on the line from Kaswa. We'll pick a batch of the questions and then we'll go ahead. Francis, please turn off your radio so we can hear you clearly without any feedback. Good morning.
All right.
Okay, the radio is still on.
My
Good morning.
question is this. I believe the police are to blame for all this. I have a driver who was caught not putting on seatbelt at Dansoman. And he called me. And I agreed that we should go to court and I'll pay. The policeman told the driver that he's going to keep the car at the police station till 15th of March. And this was 10th of February. So why wouldn't I pay a bribe and take my car? Because my car is a distribution van. You have to go around and sell. He said he was impounding the car till 15th of March. Finally, he took 60 Ghana.
Thanks for calling us, Francis. Uncle Kwame from McCarthy Hill, it's been a while since you called. Good morning.
Hey, yeah, bro. How are you?
I am blessed, though, yeah, bro.
No, okay. You know, I think the best thing to do is to install cameras. You know, speed cameras. You know, all nations that are developed today, they put all those speed cameras. And believe me, it will cost the government probably about $10 million to put all the speed cameras around everywhere. Then, when they start arresting the drivers, you know, Ghana, we don't have a lot of address system. Our address system is not very good. So, when you are due for DVLA renewal, you go there, then they will show you the time, your Benz bus, you, the driver. You know, the speed cameras can even capture the face of the driver.
Very true.
So you'll be fined. If you've not paid, then your vehicle will be there until you pay the money.
Very true.
I can tell you, government to make so much money on these our roads because the roads are not safe. Because believe me, people want to drive as fast as they can. And these drivers, you know, they will go and do what? They will tell them the sales that they will make a day. They have to go sometimes 3 times before they will make that sales. So I think the best thing to do is to install cameras all over. And believe me, even security-wise, it's good for Madagascar. Because Britain is the safest country in the whole world. Just because they install every 200 meters, they have cameras all around.
Uncle Kwame.
When you are a criminal,
Uncle Kwame, let me steal a few seconds of your time and you give it to Soup so that he answers that question for you, okay?
Pardon me?
I said let me steal a few seconds of your time and give to Soup so that he answers that question for us. The question on automation and installation of cameras. When are we going to see it? Quickly.
Oh, soon. Let's hope.
How soon?
Because the government has given the go-ahead.
Can you move into the mic for me?
The police administration is working on it assiduously, so let's hope.
So you are unable to give us a time? a specific time?
I don't want to stick my neck out, but soon.
In the short to medium term, what are we doing to as police to make sure that our roads are safer?
I think we will sustain our proactive enforcement and also intensify our reactive one. So we see a lot of police officers on our roads, and I believe we didn't want any feedback of police harassment, because sometimes when people even see deployed traffic police officers, the people are there worrying us. We don't want.
Excuse me, but is that not a case of doing the same thing and expecting different results?
Oh, we don't think so. I think the policing is also sometimes contingent on the situation, and so under the circumstances, we need to, because you have also propounded that we should deploy more at places where there seem to be recurrence of certain problems.
I simply asked questions. I didn't propound anything.
so you suggested. So we will do that. We will deploy a lot of police officers. We will saturate the environment.
Okay.
And focus our enforcement, because we will be targeting motorcycles. We will be ensuring that people do not jaywalk as pedestrians. And we also ensure that on highways, we focus on high occupancy vehicles.
Okay.
And then transit vehicles, trucks, and all that are freighting our goods. And we do that. What Uncle Kwame said, I think that it's something that we are focusing on to do in terms of automating our system to eliminate some of these systemic challenges and problems that has come.
As for you and I have had this discussion before about the Road Traffic Act 2004, Act 683, and which was amended in 2008, Act 761. Is it the police's view that it would help if we were to revert back to the penalties that were imposed by Act 683, because those penalties were reduced by 90% in Act 761 in the 2008 amended Act? Should the government
review
go back
the
to
penalties?
Parliament and go back and review the penalties upwards? A yes or no answer?
It's not necessarily yes or no. I don't know whether even viewers, callers are aware of what you are talking about. But the history is clear that we set ourselves in 2004 to move away from 1952 penalties and said that if you commit, you were to be punished for this at the courts. We went back to Parliament in 2008 and slashed it by almost 90%. And experts have said that it is so begging and it's so minimal of custodial sentences and fine. And that is what we are using to pamper the offenders. And so
do you think it should be raised?
For me, we have to revisit the Amendment Act.
And increase them.
It is not punitive enough.
Okay.
It's pampering and it's not biting. And I won't be surprised if it's also the reason why there are repeat offenders and people are not all that deterred to commit some of the offenses they commit, because they know that the fines are not punitive.
Thank you very much, Superintendent Alex Kweku Obeng. He is the Head of Education and Research at the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Ghana Police Service. Thank you also, Malik Abbas Dabo, editor of myjournal.com, usual suspect here on the Super Morning Show, for helping us out with this conversation. We'll take a few messages, and when we come back, we have with us Paul Kwekwa Kofi. He's the Head of RPC Design, and Vera Obeng, Head of Vera Obeng Photography, and the Head of Circumspecs.com, Jamila Abdullah. They are joining us. We also have our friends from Airtel Tigo and Anis Hafa, educationists at large here in Ghana, will be on the Super Morning Show. Stay with us. It's only 11 minutes past 9. It's plenty of time to do a lot more talking with you and with our guests. We'll be back.
Hello, Corporate Ghana. It's the 4th Ghana CEO Summit, a unique 2-day world-class business conference to be held on the 20th and 21st of May, 2019 at Kempinski. Theme: Futuristic Economy, Technology-Driven Future of Business and Governance for Economic Transformation. This summit has been a real success and has attracted over 1,500 dignitaries, including